Good morning, St. John's. Many years ago, shortly after I was ordained as a priest, I was at a cocktail party and someone asked me what I did. And so I said I was an Episcopal priest, and this person didn't know much about what clergy do. He was clearly not a regular church attendee, if at all. And so he asked me what do clergy do, and so I mentioned several things, one of which was pastoral care. And he looked at me and he said, "I have no idea what that is. That sounds to me like agricultural maintenance." And I just had the best laugh because I realized in that moment how much of insider language the concept of pastoral care is, what that must sound like to somebody on the outside. Anyway, a few weeks ago during our vestry listening sessions, some of you asked, what is pastoral care exactly at St. John's? What does it entail? Who does it? And all that kind of stuff. So I thought I'd talk about that in this video today. So the word pastor is connected to the idea of agriculture in the sense that it is the same kind of sense as the word pasture, and it comes from the ancient Latin word for priest, and specifically in the context of being a shepherd. And so when we talk about pastoral care, what we're talking about is a particular type of care that has to do with the spiritual individual. So all of us have a spiritual side of us. And in church, when we talk about pastoral care, what we recognize is that as we as human beings go through changes and transitions in life and difficulties and challenges, there is the spiritual aspect of us that is also navigating those things. So it's not just the physical and emotional, but the part that is connecting to God and asking, where is God in the midst of this? And so in churches, pastoral care is the care of souls. And it is done in different ways in different churches. At St. John's, we have a pastoral care team. And this care team includes the clergy, and it includes the Stephen ministers, which is a whole ministry of our church that it includes a lot of training for listening and companionship, and it's a one-on-one type ministry. Pastoral care at St. John's, as a part of this care team, also includes lay Eucharistic visitors, and these are people who take communion to individuals at home, and so it's an entire coordination among multiple people, but it's headed by the clergy. And so whenever Anne or Sarah or I get an email, for example, and someone in the email will say, "Hey, I was wondering if we could meet." Maybe it has to do with a loss of some kind. Definitely if there is a loss of a loved one, the clergy will say, "Look, we're here for you. If you ever need a space to process that or pray, we're here for you." So that's definitely an inroad. But if people reach out to us and say, "Look, I'm experiencing a loss or a transition of some kind, or I have a health issue or a relational issue or a vocational issue," whatever it is, and I'd like to meet, Anne, Sarah, or I will respond to whoever reaches out to us. And people reach out to different clergy people depending on their connection to us, and we will always set up a meeting and talk and kind of dig a little bit deeper and help our parishioners kind of process that space. It's not just limited to parishioners. Sometimes people in the community will reach out to us, even if they're not a part of St. John's, just looking for care or support from the church and from the clergy. But also, many of our parishioners will also come to us and say, "Look, I heard so-and-so might be going through something," and we will reach out proactively. At St. John's also, the clergy have identified people who are stuck at home for whatever reason and are not able to get out. And these are parishioners of ours, typically people who are older. And we try to make sure to touch base with them on occasion and on a regular basis just to kind of be there for them and be that connection from the church to them. But this is a beautiful area where our lay Eucharistic visitors, people who take communion on a regular basis, typically monthly, will jump in. So we identify them, and then we try to set up these regular meetings, and they just become a thing on their own, where communion that is consecrated at St. John's ends up being taken, and a small service in someone's home is done, typically one-on-one. With our Stephen ministry, if we learn of someone who is going through a big transition, and these are usually discrete things where it's for a few months, there's a big transition and someone needs a place to just talk and a listening ear. Our Stephen ministers are so incredible in this regard, and and it's very confidential, and it's that type of companionship for a period of time, and then there is an evaluation between the two of like, should we continue or is this a good time to stop? And really grateful for that type of ministry at St. John's. So there are many inroads, and so if you've ever wondered, how do I get that type of spiritual support, all you have to do is reach out to one of the clergy. So every Sunday when you have the bulletin with you, if you look on the back of this, the announcement sheet, there is the email addresses for our clergy. You can also always contact the church office. If you go online, our emails are there. You can also pick up the phone and give us a call, and just say, hey, would love to get together to chat. And even if it's just because you want to feel more connected to St. John's, and you feel that meeting with the clergy is the way to do that, I just want to encourage you to reach out to us, and that all of this is a part of pastoral care at St. John's. So I hope that this helps, and I hope that you feel more connected through this, and also that you know that we're here to care for one another as a church community, and it takes all of us to be there for each other. God bless you, St. John's. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday as we continue this beautiful journey of faith and life. Blessings.